Hi, who doesn't want to be paid more? The shift of presidency led to the discussion of possible increase of minimum wage by $15. While some states has already have higher minimum wage than national minimum, this would create a unilateral rise. Today, I will argue that the federal government should not increase the national minimum wage to $15. According to Mark Wilson, there has been a number of increase of minimum wage throughout the decade. The raise of minimum wage was designed to help Americans so that they could live more comfortable and they could have more money. The increase of $15 for 2021 is aimed to increase discrepancy for racial and gender pay gaps, and also to help and benefit the frontline workers and essential workers because of the pandemic. This is according to the Economic Policy Institute. But the past research shows otherwise. To prepare for this speech, I researched the best researcher about this topic. I relied heavily from Charlene Kalinkowski, who is a professor in Texas Tech University, an economy teacher. She also does research about how labor and demographic affects the economy. Another source is David Newmark, who has the best insight about the economy. And also, I did the research. I also read the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And I also have a different other site. I will present 3 reasons why federal government should not increase minimum wage. First, raising minimum wage decreases the job opportunities of youth and untrained workers. Second, upward mobility is the key of vocational development, and raising minimum wage will infringe upon this. And lastly, despite the opposition claims, there are serious economic negative side effects to an increase of minimum wage. The federal government should maintain the current minimum wage to retain the benefit for younger inexperienced worker. The problem here is youth jobs are the key experience and necessity that can already be difficult to attain if the minimum wage will increase. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the annual unemployment peaks around the summertime when students finish high school and university. Employment of youth is decreasing by 8 to 7% to 10.6% according to Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And due to the pandemic, the loss of youth jobs became twice as the past years. The labor force of youth that is willing to work under minimum wage sunk by 4.5%. When the federal government increased the minimum wage to $15, it would make the employer hire less people, because who would want to employ an unskilled worker and pay the same amount of a skilled worker? In my opinion, the solution for this is The maintaining the unemployment rate will prevent further decrease in youth unemployment. According to Kalinkowski, labor market becomes more competitive, competitive, putting the unskilled worker into disadvantage Be- because they have less experience, and employers don't like to have workers like those. Teenagers are least skilled and experienced, leading employers to hire them more. Teenagers are least skilled and inexperienced, leading employers to hire them because they would pay less than the skilled ones. Minimum wage can be detrimental effect on youth employment. An increased minimum wage shows that decrease of employment for youth. Youth workers are more unattractive to employers due to the increase of minimum wage if that happened. So the federal government should maintain minimum wage as to not decrease upward mobility. The problem with this is upward mobility infringe upon the raise in minimum wage. Upward mobility is the key for a high aspiration in working field. And upward mobility is how a person or an individual or family do well in this society. And upward mobility has been more towards male. Upward mobility has been easier for male because the gender pay because of gender pay. Statistically, people male has more salary than female, and if the minimum wage will increase, employers might hire male because of this is only my opinion. Because of how because of their body structure, because they could like way more in they could carry more than female does in labor jobs. And decrease of employment of lower level workers hinders their upward mobility. And this, in my opinion, again, maintaining the minimum wage will continue to foster upward mobility rather than destroying it. If employers need to pay more for workers, they will employ fewer unskilled workers, as to why pay the same to unskilled and skilled ones. An increase in wage decrease the employment wage. For upward mobility has become the key, and for gender gaps, I forgot to say this when and statistically female in 2021 did better than not did better the female did really good in upward mobility than female and then male now. Upward mobility has become the key in vocational chances, especially for those who are unequal treatment in the past. An increase in minimum wage will take away this will take away the gender balance, the gender fairness will take away the gender fairness, and as less people will be unemployed because of the minimum wage, because employers would not hire unskilled workers. Increasing minimum wage does not lead to economic benefits. Mm, Increase in minimum wage does not lead to economic benefits. According to Wilson, the increase of minimum wage need to come from somewhere else. This lead to employer to cut the benefits and increase the prices to equalize extra costs. This is really true. If 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 employer hire you and they pay you more, and the product or like so that pay would need to go somewhere else. So they would cover the cost of hiring you. Inflation and also the problem with this, inflation will occur. Inflation means the prices will skyrocket, and that would cancel out the increase of minimum wage because because the increase of price would just cancel out the increase of your salary. And also one big problem about increasing minimum wage is that employer would hire more alien and illegal workers because they won't have to pay for taxes. They would have not to pay benefits, and they would be and they would be not not they would be very attractive to employers because they could pay less than the regular the employee. In conclusion, federal government should not increase minimum wage because of these three reasons. First, youth workers' opportunities will drop drastically. Second, upward mobility will hinder by increase of minimum wage. That would cause a domino effect of problems. And finally, although the opposition claim that there are economic benefits in increasing minimum wage, this is not the case factually. And research and studies doesn't show that one. These are my notes. And I have last one thing to say. If minimum wage would be approved, one day the prices will skyrocket, and maybe one day your favorite burger, food, or anything would cost more. Imagine a burger that would cost you $10 for just one burger and fries. I think that's insane. I hope it doesn't get approved. Thank you.